Throughout Ruby's entire life, there has always been one singular person that has always been constant in her life. One person who always took care of her. One person who always made her day shine gold even during the darkest of times. And that person is, of course, her dearest sister Yang. Ruby at a very young age lost her mother, and as a consequence, lost her father for a portion of time. Thus, Yang stepped up to the plate and took over the role of Ruby's mother, reading her bedtime stories and fairy tales that inspired her to become a huntress. And as she grew up, Yang continued to stay alongside Ruby. But as life would have it, Ruby was taken for a loop and was thrown into Beacon 2 years early. This of course can cause worry for anyone put in this situation, but nonetheless, she adapted and went into Beacon full of energy and excitement. She would go on and meet a few people, but she simply wanted to be on a team with her sister and stay by her side. This held true, but at a cost that would burden Ruby for the years to come. She was granted the official title of leader of Team RWBY. While she did struggle and had some pushback, she had her sister Yang by her side. So, she carried on. As she ventured on, Ruby would continue to be tested and tried as the leader, making choices that would prove crucial to not only her team, but the entire world. Learning the history of Remnant and fighting the world's biggest threat, she wasn't just the leader of a huntsman team, she was someone much bigger. While she did have help along the way, her losses began to dwell on her, and as she continued, they added up. One girl who had a dream that she would be the hero who saved the day. Let's step into Ruby's shoes. As she continued on her journey, she began to grow more and more distant from Yang, both physically and emotionally. Yang, over the course of the series, began to develop feelings for her teammate Blake, and it was around the time of Volume 6 and 7 where Blake and Yang decided to pursue each other further. And there's something I want to make clear for everyone. Yang needed this. She isn't a bad sister. Yang has spent her entire life caring for Ruby, taking care of her as she grew up. Yang never had a childhood. She never had time to be a normal kid, and this continued throughout her life. And now that Ruby's older and they have a lot more freedom of their own, Yang finally got time to herself. She was able to finally relax and start working on herself. It's not as if she was ignoring Ruby. Her focus has just changed. Better believe it though, when Ruby's in danger, she will be there to save her, which turns us to episode 7 of Volume 9. This episode suffices as the rising action to Ruby's breakdown. Ruby clearly expresses that all she's had to do since she became leader is push on. She has to look after everyone else. She has to put on that brave face so that she can inspire others to follow her and continue this fight. And throughout this entire volume, she's just had bombs dropped on her left and right, and it's too much for one person to handle. Penny's death and losing the relics are only a part of it. I think the biggest hurdle was her not realizing that her own sister was romantically involved with her teammate. I also believe that Ruby is upset at Yang for not telling her about her feelings. Sure, it could have been obvious to John and maybe Weiss, but clearly Ruby had no idea. She should have at least had a sister moment with her where they just talked to each other. When was the last time Ruby had time to just be open with Yang? They've been in a constant fight since reuniting. During the Atlas montage, we see a small clip of Ruby and Yang together, but that wasn't nearly enough for us to gauge a proper interaction. But after this, the damage has been done. Ruby has already reached her breaking point, and now that all that Team RWBY can do is pick up the pieces and build her back up. Weiss, Blake, and Yang didn't ignore Ruby. They had their own conflicts that they were taking care of, while Ruby just smiled through it all and told them that she was okay. After all, Ruby is the leader. Let me refresh you all. Come with me, and let's turn back the clock to where this all began, all the way back in Volume 1.
Because it's not just about you anymore. You've got a team now, Jean. We both do, and if we fail, then we'll just be bringing them down with us. We have to put our teammates first, and ourselves second.
The signs were all there, but I find it hard to believe that Yang out of all of them didn't notice. She has every right to focus on herself, and she should, but all that time taking care of Ruby should have made her more observant. Nevertheless, Ruby is alone now and will probably break down even further because she started letting out all that baggage and will continue to do so. And what we're about to see is the ever after hearing her cries. I believe that the tree will now call upon Ruby to ascend, or at least lure her in. I have a strong feeling that we'll get some interaction with Summer Rose. It won't be a memory since Ruby was far too young to remember any conversations, but maybe the ever after posing as Summer Rose, getting inside of Ruby's head and figuring out what's most dear to her. Ruby's been holding on to her mother's promise ever since she left. The ever after might use that to its advantage so that Ruby can finally change herself. Another possibility is the blacksmith appearing. After her first appearance, the tent that held her within seemed to disappear, as if Ruby and Little were the only ones able to walk inside or even acknowledge its existence. Maybe the blacksmith can appear once more and offer Ruby to put down her burden and become anew, but seeing as we have 3 episodes left, I don't see Ruby taking this offer. I really do believe that they'll give us some type of summer conversation. Now, I don't want Team Stark just yet, this isn't the time, nor is it the place, but at this stage, Ruby needs someone to lean on, and while Yang will probably come to her rescue, I think Ruby will greatly benefit from a new face. However, Ruby isn't alone on this journey. There is one other who was thrusted into this role as leader and has been forced to take action in this fight with Salem, John. John can be considered one of Ruby's best friends. After all, they've been with each other since the start, since day one of Beacon. They've both had to deal with the role of being leader and being strong together. As time would go on, they would rely on each other throughout battles and trust each other's decisions. Yet, many people were still taken back by John going off on Ruby, which, yes, John is quick to act on his emotions, but he's also been alone for decades, and the only other humans that he had to talk to, one tried to kill him. It doesn't help that John has been repeatedly putting himself through hardship every single day since he's found his village. Every day playing the hero that he's always dreamed of as a kid, doing the same tasks every day, and we can tell by the name of the villagers that he's been emotionally drained. It's his way of coping with the loss and stress that he's had to endure. And when he finally meets his friends, the ones who he can trust, they think he's crazy. Even after John yells at Ruby, he comes to his senses and breaks down. I know a lot of people are giving John flack for going off on Ruby like this, but this is his best friend. There are times when you argue with the person that knows you the best and you'll say things that you know will cut deep. John and Ruby definitely have a lot to work out. The Ever After seems like a place that will play tricks on your mind in order for you to ascend. I really hope that the rest of this volume focuses on these two specifically. Ideally, I would like an entire episode with Ruby, but we have to wait and see for that. However, I would like for this conflict to not resolve in this volume. I don't want Ruby after one episode to go back to being all happy-go-lucky and better. No, these things take time. If she's going to break down, let her break down, and then slowly build herself back up over the course of the next volume. So far, this volume has done a really good job at staying character focused and really taking the time in developing our characters. I hope this continues in volume 10, even when we go back to more plot-heavy stuff. Regardless, the breaking of Ruby Rose has been a long time coming. It's only a matter of time if her silver light fades into darkness or shines brighter than ever.